Welcome to episode 3 of Growing Sales with a Drink During an Epidemic. I'm Alex Goldfayn. Thank you for watching. Today's topic is perseverance. You've landed on the perseverance episode. It's an important, critical topic, a special topic to me because it combines my interest and passion for psychology with sales success. So today is all about perseverance, not giving up, pushing forth, even in difficult times. Now, you might notice I'm doing this episode in a Cubs jersey. Also, something that's really, really important to me is the Chicago Cubs. I live and work in the Chicago area. Of course, we don't have baseball now, even though it's mid-April, but I think we will have baseball. And when it comes, it's going to be awesome. And also, by the way, in the year 2016, my Cubs, after 108 years, did win the World Series, and man, I feel like we're still celebrating it. You know, it was that big and continues to be that big. And so that was 108 years of perseverance. So if they can persevere for 108 years, we can persevere through several months here now. Let's talk about the drink. Today, I am drinking an iced coffee, which if you've seen my work, you know that iced coffee is the drink. It's the did you know story from the airport, right? Would you like a bottle of water with that? It's in my books. It's in my talks. So I drink iced Americanos. And what that is espresso on ice, little half and half, little sugar substitute if you wish. And so the coffee that we use is made by Tala Coffee Roasters, which is in a suburb called Highwood, Illinois, just north of Highland Park and just south of Lake Forest. And so this is actually this is the coffee that I'm drinking right now. They call it the Shelter-in-Place Bunker Blend, which is a blend of 3 of their single origin coffees. The regular bags look like this, and you can see their logo here. And this is really what they do. And you can buy it online on their website. Their website is talacoffeeroasters.com. And it's to us, it's the best coffee beans because they're not sharp, they're not burnt, they're not over roasted. They're somewhere between light and medium roast, and they're just full of flavor, and they're deep and they're interesting, and they never make you sort of pucker and feel like it's a sharp coffee. It's never a sharp coffee. It's always a smooth and round and layered and interesting coffee. So, cheers. Let's talk about perseverance. The power of perseverance in sales is absolutely immense. I think that perseverance, frankly, is more important than anything else. And the research backs this up. So in the field of positive psychology, there is the founding father of positive psychology is known as Martin Seligman. And he actually, I studied him in college. And one day I was speaking on sales growth. And he was also speaking at the same event. And I was mesmerized by this because I don't normally watch other speakers. I met a lot of talks with a lot of other speakers. And but when I saw that he was speaking, I sat there and I didn't move. And, when you study somebody in college, you don't think they're alive anymore. So Seligman in the 60s and 70s was one of the key psychologists in the field of behavioral psychology and all but invented this term of learned helplessness, which is an old psychology term. Now, today, he's in his late 70s at the University of Pennsylvania, still running the Department of Positive Psychology. Positive psychology studies what makes us happy and successful, as opposed to the rest of psychology, which studies what makes us anxious and depressed and worse, right? What makes us screwed up. And so Seligman studies optimism, gratitude, confidence, success, and happiness, which I think is pretty cool, right? That's a pretty cool thing to study. And in his work at this talk that I was watching, he said that perseverance and resilience is twice as important to success as talent is. So think about how powerful this is to us who sell. Perseverance, twice as important as talent. That means you could be the most talented salesperson in the world, but if you give up, if you quit after hearing no, you're not going to sell very much, right? It makes sense. Think about your favorite sports team. On every team, there is a player who is not as strong, not as fast, not as naturally gifted as his or her teammates, outperforming those teammates because that person didn't give up. That person kept working. That person outworks everybody. And so in our work, understand that perseverance, continuing to try in the face of failure, that's how I think about perseverance, right? Continuing to try in the face of a lack of success is twice as important to your skill, to your closing technique, right? To your prospecting technique, to your negotiating skills. Perseverance is 2/3 of the equation to sales success. All those other things, 1/3. That's how important it is. And so my book, my latest book, Selling Boldly, which you can see over my shoulder, is actually based on this science of positive psychology. You can see it there in the subtitle, right, where my hand is. And Seligman's seminal work, a lot of props today, is called Learned Optimism. And in it, he argues that we can learn to see optimistically, to see the positive in just about anything. And I would suggest to you that now that's a pretty powerful thing to have, and it's a really incredibly useful skill now in the times that we are living in. And I'm going to give you one more Seligman book, and then we'll continue on with sales. It's a stressful time we're living in, especially for kids. I have 10-year-old twins. An incredible book, if you have young children, is called The Optimistic Child. And this book talks about how to make your kids optimistic and how to essentially inoculate them against depression and anxiety. And so this book has techniques that we've used with our kids for years, like give me your 3 favorite things that happened today, right before they go to bed. And it makes them consider things that were positive, that were happy. Give me 3 things you're grateful for. It makes them think about those things, even when they may not be in the mood. So these 2 Seligman books, really, really important. Okay. I was watching a movie recently called Molly's Game. And Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba in that movie. And they closed it with a really powerful quote, which I'd never heard before. I don't really quote movies ever, so this is weird for me. But here's the quote. The quote is actually by Winston Churchill. And he says that success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Isn't that fabulous? Going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. I love that. In sales, essentially, we have to go through the no's, the rejections, to get to the yeses, right? We have to go through the losses to get to the wins. Without the no's, there are no yeses. Because without the no's, we're not trying. We're not trying to sell without the no's. And so we have to get through them to get to the wins. Here's another quote. I don't do a lot of quotes, but they're all kind of in this area. This one is one of my favorites. Thomas Edison said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." I love that. You never know if the next effort is going to be the one that gets it done. So if you're in sales like me and you've already been rejected by somebody 8 times, a 9th rejection is literally no worse. It's the same. What's the difference? There is no difference between 8 and 9. So you might as well try again. The next step might be the one that gets it done. And if you don't try, you will never know. And I think that's tragic because you've already tried, right? You might as well keep going. Look, in my business, I've had entire years where every single client that signed on with me told me no before they told me yes. So if I would have stopped trying after the first no, I would not have gotten that business. So you've got to continue to try even when they tell you no. I would have had no money in those years, right? And last year my business did $3 million. And the year before my business did $3 million. And I've had years like that where everybody has rejected me before they said yes. So now I get a no. Prospect says no. I say, yes, I'm almost there. It's almost done. It's a part of my process, right? That's how to think about rejection. I was having drinks with a friend. This was, I don't know, several months ago, maybe 9-10 months ago. And he said, Alex, I want to write a book. I said, okay, interesting. Let's talk about that. So he told me his idea. I said, prepare to be rejected, right? Because that's what happens in books, right? There's mine behind me. My 5th book is coming out. It's called 5 Minute Selling, right there, the yellow one. It's coming out in August. So please look out for that. But he says he wants to write a book. I said, you need to be prepared to be rejected, right? The first publisher or agent will not say yes. And he says to me, I've never failed at anything in my life. And I immediately thought to myself, you've never tried anything interesting then. You've never tried anything worthwhile. Because anything meaningful or compelling or helpful or interesting almost always comes with failure before success. Anything interesting comes with failure before we reach success, and we have to overcome that failure to get to the success. Now, I didn't say it out loud. It took everything I had not to say it out loud, but I did it. I kept it to myself. We've got to work through the no's. You know, in baseball, which we started with today, if you fail 70% of the time, you go to the Hall of Fame. You're one of the best ever. Now, in sales, we fail more than that, and we can be great at our profession, right? In sales, if we succeed 5 or 10 or 15% of the time, we could do really well in life. So our game has more failure than baseball. So the question is, what can you breathe life into this week, right? Which opportunities are at a standstill? Which opportunities have sort of rejected you? Which opportunities have you not succeeded in? And which of these opportunities can you go back to and re-enliven, right? Reanimate. I don't know if re-enliven is a word, but we'll go with it. There's two kinds, I think. There's two kinds of perseverance. The first one is a micro perseverance, opportunity by opportunity, right? Individual cases. So customer or prospect has told you no, that we can continue pursuing. Macro perseverance is, continuing to fight broadly when we don't have it in us, when we feel like we don't have it in us. Persevering through this pandemic that we're in, when customers are afraid, when we are afraid, and not just about rejection, but about our health, about our families, about keeping our jobs, about bosses breathing down our necks, right? Lots of my salespeople are telling me they have managers and supervisors that are pushing hard now. Understandable. They're getting pushed also. You might have customers that are pushing hard now, and you might not feel in the face of an avalanche of terrible and difficult news that you have it in you to continue fighting. I'm asking you, continue to fight. Keep going. Do not quit. This will pass. This will pass. We've just got to fight our way to that point, right? This is temporary. Fight your way to that point. Persevere your way to that. Don't you give up. Your customers need your help now. Your families need your help now. Your kids need to see you fighting through this. Your parents need to see you fighting through this. Be an example to them. Be an example to your customers. This is how I think about it. Be an example to your customers and to your family and fight like hell to get through this time. They all deserve that from you. And at the top of the list of people who deserve that you fight like crazy is you. At the very top of the list. Don't you give up. Keep going. Fight. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Don't be the one who doesn't find out how close success is, right? Don't you give up. Keep going. We all deserve that from you, right? I deserve that from you. Don't take that away from me. Thank you for watching. Listen, if you like these episodes, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You'll get them all. At least you'll get alerted when they come out. I know this work that you're doing right now isn't easy, but it's necessary, right? It's work we need to keep doing. So keep going, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you very much. I'm Alex Goldfayn.